Okay, Nongkhyllem Wildlife Sanctuary, actually, this Nongkhyllem Wildlife Sanctuary is carved out of Nongkhyllem Reserve Forest. So the area of Nongkhyllem Wildlife Sanctuary, as per notification, it is 29 square kilometer. We are a bit fortunate, like the other side we have a reserve forest, and Tasor also we have a reserve forest, so it become not just 29 for wildlife, it's a bit much bigger than that.
Duty jongi hangne ngiyelek ka duty tamalong ga duty bangilek ngi hangne galong ba ban patrolling yangne khlau hi borkawi hangne yai pun gata sandru guntar ngi yai sisi ban patrolling yangne te kawai pakajing hangne ru ka sulong na ba yam tang ngi janjar ha haki staff ngi duna ki staff te haju ko pon na kaliang jong ka forest department ru ngi yele kat bala ban penyadai berkasnong kathau ngi ai gini ki eco development scheme ngi ai ki tier shed tier tiu ngi ai suki ai ba lengba jongki ru ngi la ban long ban trailang ban yarap nam ta kan ka ban penek pesa ini ki mat ki ba em ngi po Nongkhyllem Wildlife Sanctuary.
As per the knowledge and records, like the cooperation of the public, like you can say, it's immense cooperation. Few are there who are like, not in the mood of conservation. Like, they are still in that old way of thinking. The rest, many people, they are very much in conservation. And when I meet many of the Rangbachnang, the headman, they are very much willingly to, cooperate. For us, our main aim is to protection, conservation. Try our best to protect this habitat. Because we know that in this habitat, there are many species, which I can tell you, right from ants, you can say from insects, from butterflies, so many. So if we can protect this habitat as it is, I believe those species which are there, they can thrive. Like in here in Ribhoi, as I have seen, it seems that Nongkhyllem is the only area where you could find so many species. And I have seen like people from different parts of Ribhoi district. They are coming forward for the community reserves, which is a very good initiative from the village part. We could see like, there are signs of leopard cat, you could have signs of like, maybe hulok also will be there. So the initiative which people around are taking now, like, coming forward to form community reserve. The community by themselves preserve for the benefits of their own area. But here's are in wildlife.
Nongkhyllem Wildlife Sanctuary and the reserve forest here is the only remaining old growth forest in Ribhoi district of Meghalaya. So that way it holds a very important position. It's very significant for conservation because since it's protected and it's an old growth forest, you still have a lot of wildlife species that are still prevalent here, which are not prevalent or don't occur in lands outside Nongkhyllem anymore.
Marbun ki bawan hangne teng ki kwa pai marat kin nam yi tengi po em hangne ngi yi markhman mne tam ngi yo ban sondor.
In Meghalaya, a large proportion of the forest falls on community lands. So they are owned and they are managed by communities. So even now, if you go visit some community areas, you will see that they have preserved some of their forests and they have instituted their own village level regulations on natural resource extraction and various other things such as hunting, things like that. They also depend heavily on the forests for water, for firewood, for things like bamboo to construct their houses and so on and so forth. So the forests are very dependent on the local communities, and the local communities are also dependent on the forest. So they play an extremely important role in conservation in this state and in many other parts of Northeast India as well.
Like what we found from, evidence from around the world suggests that a lot of these multiple use landscapes also have a lot of conservation value. And I think if the government were to engage in a proactive manner with local communities, there would be many different kinds of conservation benefits and win-win situations that can come about, both for the people as well as for the wildlife in the state.
I think there needs to be better engagement with all of the stakeholders that are concerned. There are interstices which are filled by organizations such as conservation initiatives that we are here with, but it seems as though the entire idea of ecotourism has made conservation quite tokenistic, and it needs to be more than tokenistic. It needs to engage with actual issues of the wildlife and the humans that are concerned with it.
We've been lucky enough to see a lot of community-based conservation on our trip here. We've seen how involved people can be with conservation and just knowing about what's around them and being sensitive towards it. And so I think just being a little bit more aware of what's happening on the ground would make a huge difference to the larger picture of conservation. I think one thing that the range officer said that really struck me, he said that there isn't a lot of wildlife here. You can't go out and expect to see like a muntjac or just like a tiger or an elephant roaming around. We sat and we looked at plants, we looked at spiders, we looked at such normal things that I think would not seem like things that tourists would enjoy. So I think why Nongkhyllem I'm able to answer only after coming here, in that we've looked at habitat, we've not looked at wildlife as much, and we've seen the space which they occupy rather than themselves. And so the range officer said it very well. He said you have to be patient if you want to see wildlife here. We're protecting its habitat, and I think that was really interesting and I really agree with it.
So this awareness program, we're making people aware about the importance of the habitat, importance of forests, and especially for themselves. Like, you know, you have forests, the whole village will be having a drinking water first. Let's forget about anything. So they will have drinking water for their own.
Habo pi imrang masyalisi pensaya ki ba pitib banong hati pitib banong kasir kaskai haki kun kti jong pila shay patang tang shutib stangka kerteng hendai ban yi markmat mi isu ma ba bun kinong siat la bun penyak pathar ta kata jeng ai jeng mut jong ai kisnong.
We have a hornbill here, we have a giant flying squirrel. As I told you, like in our inspection bungalow, in the evening if you sit, you will see a flying squirrel coming. So these are experiences which, you know, for us as forester, we feel good that our hard work is being paid off through the wildlife we could see in the sanctuary.